Welcome to House Edge. Before we start the episode, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe here on YouTube. And check us out on Twitter, TikTok, and Discord at House Edge Bet. Links down below. Enjoy the show.
Hello, guys, and welcome to House Edge. It's your boy Rob here. You may have noticed that Burke's not with us today. This is just going to be our new format for a couple weeks, just to deal with the travel of the holiday season. I'm here to bring you my Week 11 NFL and college football picks for this week. Let's start off with a little recap of last week. Last week, I went 5-0 in the NFL and 2-2 in college football. Perfect day for the NFL. And, a middling day from college football, slight loss, but we'll bounce back. Now let's get straight into my NFL plays. So for my first play, I have the Dolphins minus 11.5 versus the Raiders. I think the Raiders have been playing great for the last 2 weeks under new coach Antonio Pierce, but this is where we're going to see a stop to that. Dolphins are coming in hot after a loss to the Chiefs, and this will be the Raiders' first test under the new coaching staff against both on the road and against a 500 team. So I got the Dolphins taking this by 2 touchdowns. Next up, we got the Cardinals plus 4.5 versus the Texans. Kyler Murray looked great coming back off his ACL injury last week, and I just take the Cardinals to stay in this game. They played great throughout the season, and Kyler really has something to play for because if the Cardinals end up in those 1 or 2 picks, they're probably going to take a quarterback and he'll lose his job, just like he got it against Josh Rosen not too long ago. I'm also taking the Bills minus 6.5 versus the Jets. This is just a complete fade of the Jets. I don't think they have enough offense to really hang with the Bills. They did beat them last time, but that was off a 3-turnover game by Josh Allen. I think if Josh Allen can limit his turnovers to 1 or 0, this is an easy game for the Bills to win. I think this is probably a 3-score game. Next up is the Eagles money line versus the Chiefs. I'm going to do away with the points here. I think both of these teams will come out with a great game plan, and the winner of this game is probably going to be about 10 points either way. Personally, I like the Eagles that they show too many ways to win. They can win on a run, they can win with pass, they can win with defense. And I just don't see that from the Chiefs. They're very one-dimensional, so I'm going to take the Eagles in this game. And for my last NFL pick, I got the Seahawks minus 1 versus the Rams. The Rams have regressed so much since the Week 1 win over the Seahawks. I mean, that win included a 2-touchdown game from Kyren Williams, who's now on the IR, and a 6-catch and 119-yard game from Tutu Atwell. I'm not saying that they can't get that same wide receiver production from Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua, but it just shows you how this team has changed throughout the weeks. I think the Seahawks have, they go in and they beat the teams that they're supposed to beat, and they lose, to the teams they're not supposed to beat, like the Ravens. To recap my NFL card, I have the Dolphins minus 11.5 versus the Raiders, Cardinals plus 4.5 versus the Texans, Bills minus 6.5 versus the Jets, Eagles money line plus 130 versus the Chiefs, and Seahawks minus 1 versus the Rams. And for my college football plays, I have Ole Miss minus 37 versus UL Monroe. I think that Georgia loss tells me a lot more about Georgia's dominance than Ole Miss incompetence. And I'll take them to win big over the worst team in the SBC, sitting at 0-7 in their conference. Next up, I'm taking USC minus 6.5 versus UCLA. This UCLA defense has been showing some cracks over the last couple of weeks, and I don't really think the Dolphins has the firepower to hang with USC if this turns into a shootout. Plus, you got to expect some senior day magic from Caleb Williams. This will be his last shot to really show off for NFL scouts and prove that he should be the number 1 pick, undisputed. Like, I think so. And then I got UNC money line plus 220 versus Clemson. This Clemson team has been on a great run, don't get me wrong. They beat Notre Dame. They go in, blow out Georgia Tech. But I'm not going to take the last 2 weeks and some rah-rah from Debo on the radio to convince me that UNC can't beat them. UNC has been the much better team throughout the season, much more consistent, and they've showed that they can win games down the stretch in big moments. I'll take UNC straight up money line to win this game. And lastly, I got Washington plus 114 on the money line against Oregon State. I don't really see what's going on here. I see that it's rain in the forecast, but I don't think that's going to stop a Washington team. I mean, they live in Seattle. They have to practice in rain. In Oregon State, their run game may be nice, but they're not going to be able to stop Michael Penix. I take Washington to win this game and get into the Pac-12 championship. So that's Ole Miss minus 37 versus UL Monroe, USC minus 6.5 versus UCLA, UNC money line plus 220 versus Clemson, and Washington money line plus 114 versus Oregon State. And now on for my parlays. Starting off with my NFL parlay, I'm going with a 7-point teaser plus 350 on the total. Going with the over 39 Cincinnati and Baltimore. Cowboys minus 3 versus the Panthers. Commanders minus 2 versus the Giants. 49ers minus 4.5 versus the Bucks. Eagles plus 9.5 versus the Chiefs. And Chargers plus 4 versus the Packers. Lock it in. And in my NCAA parlay, I have a 3-leg. I'm just going to take Michigan minus 19.5 versus Maryland. This is the best team in football. There's no more to be said. Louisville versus Miami. Miami's good, but not great. And Georgia minus 10.5 versus Tennessee. This team just blew out Ole Miss by over 30. I think they can cover 10 on Tennessee. And that's for a total of plus 595. I love these parlays. We got the teaser with over 39 Baltimore Cincinnati, Cowboys minus 3, Commanders minus 2.5, 49ers minus 4.5, Eagles plus 9.5, Chargers plus 4. And we're going to follow that up with a college football parlay of Michigan minus 19.5, Louisville on the money line, and Georgia minus 10.5. And last but certainly not least in odds, we got the frisky 14-16, however many games there are this week. I'm going to be taking the Ravens, Chargers, Jags, Dolphins, Cowboys, Cardinals, Steelers, Commanders, Lions, 49ers, Bills, Seahawks, Vikings. All to win money line plus $1 million. Locking in.